Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Inspire and Inform. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the October REA Insights for property demand, just comparing it in the last 4 weeks. It is really quite important because I hear a lot of talk about property prices, whether it's a good time to buy. I'm getting a lot of these questions. So I wanted to just share today just some real data and statistics about what's really happening in the marketplace and really how that's going to affect you and your property search, whether you're an investor or a home buyer. And I also want to have a little bit of a chat about the demand in regional areas. I've just been reading a report today, really from REA, about the movement of buyers really from the bigger cities into more regional areas, and which regional areas are starting to show signs of improvement in terms of properties. So that's going to be something I'll be sharing today. Hey, for those that don't know, my name is Colin Lee. I'm the founder and CEO of Inspire Realty, helping our clients build better futures together. The purpose of this forum or this event really is just to help our investors and yourself to make informed decisions about your property purchase. So I'm very excited to be doing this every week on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I've not missed this since I've started my business. And I hope to continue this unless I'm away for holidays, which is happening soon in December. I cannot wait to head up to Queensland if the borders open. So I'm just super excited about that. Just as a quick story, I've invested in properties for over 10 years. And since then, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot of good things and also made some pretty good gains out of this and have been able to build a multi-million-dollar property portfolio all across Australia. And my passion and desire is to help you get started in your property journey. And lately, I've been really assisting a lot of first home buyers and new investors into the marketplace. I love teaching, I love educating, I love sharing my experience and stories. So that's what I'm planning to do. And my vision is to be the most transparent and trusted property investment services company. What I thought I'll show you today is just to statistically show you that the demand for property is still there in terms of what's really happening in the marketplace, what's really rising in terms of the different cities, how much is it rising by, just to help you to have a sense of confidence that the market is picking up. Obviously, there's still a lot of unknowns, but I can see that Australia is really handling COVID incredibly well compared to many parts of the world, and our economy is is being propped up at the moment by JobKeeper and hopefully JobMaker very soon. But I know that Australia is a very resilient country, and our government, I'm sure, is doing whatever is necessary to stimulate the economy. But I'm certainly starting to sense a confidence back in the marketplace. So I hope to inspire you to seriously consider looking at opportunities if you're a first home buyer or you're an investor. So I'm going to just share my screen on this one here so you can see this. This is quite an interactive sort of a graph. So if you can see this. So this literally just came out today from REA, and this is just the insights into the weekly demand from buyers. So if you look at this, this is really week ending of the 18th of October. So the results were only out today, but this is really as recent as it gets in terms of the demand index. So this looks at from the 1st of January moving up until October. So the three lines really that you look at, one is the red line, and that's just units and houses, and then the total, which is the black line. And the reason why I'm showing this really as well is because I always learn, that as you build your property portfolio, you've got to make sure that you build a diversified property portfolio. So gone are the days where the demand is skewing towards units. I can definitely see a big demand for house now, particularly in more regional areas, because people are starting to work from home. And so I think the home is going to be starting to come back into popularity. People are are they're more used to working from home. So I just wanted to compare units and homes, which is really roughly the same. I don't think there is a big difference, except for maybe during the February sort of month. You can see that demand for units really rose, comparative to houses. So that's a little bit of an outlier, but otherwise it's all pretty much the same demand. So looking at what happened at the peak of COVID, that's when the national restrictions started to ease. You can see that from the 1st of April onwards, the demand started to pick up. And then, there was sort of like a second wave that happened, and that obviously, lowered the confidence in terms of the demand, especially in Victoria with the lockdown starting as well. This is actually, it tells us on the 9th of August when it started, and you can see that nationally the demand for properties started to dip. But certainly in the last 3 to 4 weeks, you can see that it's steadily picking up in terms of the demand. And I can certainly see this increasing until towards end of November, just before the Christmas holidays. But who knows? I think because we can't travel now overseas, I think the demand for properties may actually increase up until December. This is a true story. I can see that because we have, I also operate as a traditional agency, helping my clients to consolidate their property portfolio only if they really feel like they cannot hang on to their current property portfolio, or for whatever personal reasons they have to sell out. Because I believe property investment is a long-term strategy. I have a property that we listed since August, and August-ish. So you can imagine it's been 2 months now, but at the peak of August, we can see that there weren't that many inquiries. And towards October, in the last 3 weeks, we had a lot more inquiries. And finally, we've received a couple of offers on the property that my client has decided to put in the market. It's a property near Gold Coast on an acre, and it's a really good investment. It was originally their home, but they've had to sell it and move on to a different opportunity. So I physically see the demand picking up in the last 3 weeks. We had an open inspection a couple of weeks ago, and we certainly had 30 people. That's, over more than what we've ever had before. So we can start to see that people are starting to come out and starting to attend open inspections. So I can start to see that demand increasing. Anyway, I'll stop this now and go back to my presentation. So just really quickly, I thought it'll be great to just share with you a little bit about what's happening with the demand for homes. I've been having a lot of conversations with my clients, particularly those that are living in high densely populated cities. The city of Sydney, for example. I've been to the city a number of times this week, been talking to a few people, and you can tell that the city of Sydney is quite quiet at the moment. Admittedly, I think people are working from home. I look after a client as well who owns a cafe in the CBD, and they are starting to see a rise of people coming back, but certainly nowhere where it was originally, before COVID had hit. And where are these people going? These people are, working from home. I certainly am working from home myself on, 3 days a week at the very least. And I only go in when I really have appointments and meeting with, partners and business associates or clients. And so there's really no need for me to go into the city. I do all my consultations. I run my team meetings all online now. And what's happening is that you're starting to see that regional areas, suburbs, starting to pick up in business. I was in Dural a few weeks ago at a meeting with a developer friend of mine. He's a huge developer, and he lives in Dural on acreage. And we had a conversation. We went out for coffee, and there was this coffee shop that we went to, and you can tell it's very, very popular. And he was telling me that, it's not Well, you wouldn't believe it. Believe it or not, my power just completely went out. I'm actually in my home studio, and I think I must have tripped something or something must have happened. So my apologies for that. It was just a little bit of a quick interruption. Anyway, my message is that as a property investor or as a property buyer, it's worth considering looking at regional areas. There's certainly a lot of reports now showing that buyers are keen to look at different areas as opposed to purely looking at the bigger cities. So just wanted to say that 2020 has been a time of change. I can see that particularly a lot of people living in Sydney and Victoria wanting to consider, sea change. I certainly know of a client at the moment that I've helped them look at a finance pre-approval. They are looking to move from Sydney. I mean, they live in Sydney. They've been living in Sydney for many, many years. And with the same amount of money that they could borrow, they're using that to buy a family home that's out near Gold Coast or Brisbane. So that's certainly a bit of a change. You can see that in Sydney in particular, Newcastle has been a hugely popular area. And I know certainly of at least a couple of clients who've already asked me if I can find them something in Newcastle. So I encourage you to look at the Big Movers report. It was actually conducted by the Regional Australia Institute, and they map basically the movement of people in Australia between 2011 and 2016. And they show that Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide have steadily been losing more people than they've gained from the regional areas. So just wanted to share that I'm a Sydney sider myself. I love Sydney, but I've certainly contemplated and considered moving to Brisbane or Gold Coast as for a bit of a sea change. I've got a young family, and so it would be nice to have a much, much bigger home for the money that I can get for Sydney. Anyway, Sydney has lost a lot of people year on year. This year, I think they've lost about 64,756 people, moving out to regional areas, followed by nearly 21,000 plus from Melbourne and 1,000 plus from Adelaide. On the contrary, though, Brisbane has been gaining residents. They've been gaining about 15,000 residents just this year alone. So there's a lot of movements of the regional areas where people have moved to, say total about 65,000 new residents over the 5-year period. Areas like Gold Coast have picked up about 25,000 people. Newcastle have picked up about 13,000 people, and Sunshine Coast have picked up about 13,000 people. So those are the areas that are top 3, really attracting a lot of movers in that period of time. So if I were you, I would, have a good think about your portfolio. It's not always the big cities. It's not always all just the apartments that are going to be the big thing these days. I think it's worth considering diversifying your property portfolio and looking at options that will benefit you. Well, if you are interested in having a conversation with myself or my team, if you'd like to hear more about what we can do to assist you to build your property portfolio, to look at a strategy for you for long term. We know that we cannot always depend on our superannuation and our pension funds. Please feel free to reach out to us on www.inspirerealty.com. Shoot us a message, and we will definitely get back to you to have a discussion about your current situation and how we can best assist you. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and have a great evening. Bye for now.